Welcome. This one is all about Western shitty food. So we're going to learn in this one how to select for androgenic food. And you'll also learn that there's estrogenic food and there's just pure garbage, right? That's just going to crush you. Your energy, your earning potential, you'll put it off. You'll worry about what other people think. Your energy will be up and down all over the place. And we call that life, right? So this is a big part of the problem. Fixing Western shitty food. Now, if you haven't seen the previous videos in this series of 5 videos, this is the 4th. They're linked below. Now, the problem that all men face is this. If you've got low testosterone, penis, prostate, and testes scale down. So you're losing your masculinity. And if you don't know about this, this could be happening to you, but it gets worse. Man, this floored me, absolutely floored me when I saw this research. Scientists are extraordinarily concerned about future generations because of this. These chemicals are able to disrupt androgen action in fetal life. This poor unborn baby. Do you know anyone that's pregnant? With irreversible demasculinizing consequences. So their machinery is coming out underpowered permanently. It's a big problem. So my name is Mark Guyon, creator of the Androgenic Method. And this came together over about a 5-year period. But way back then, I only had one problem. And if you want to learn about what that problem was for me, I've got another video linked below about the last 5 years of my life if you want to learn more about me. But I put it together and it solves 4 problems now. But the first 3 that we're going to solve is to increase your energy, which is going to increase your earning potential, because when you've got energy, you feel good. And when you feel good, you do good. You show up. You're like, yeah, let's get at this. You got this fire inside you. But it also will significantly increase your masculinity. There's so many things we can do. We can take testosterone and turn it into dihydrotestosterone, right? This hormone is 10 times more potent than testosterone. Masculine features like the beard, the voice, the jaw, all of those things, but it gives you this fire inside you, right? To go at it, to not worry about what other people think. And when you get to that place, you quickly realize that you were never broken or weak. You just hadn't figured this out yet. I was in the same place. Now, I'm no expert. I'm just hungry to succeed in life. And I know that I need energy for that. And I know that I need people much smarter than me. So I've reached out to world-respected authorities in the hormonal, the genetic space, sexual performance, nutrition space to put this all together. I've written a couple of books, put them on Amazon, but I've also got a short PDF version of that book for $7. The link is below if you haven't grabbed it yet. But this video is a series of 5 that's putting this together for you. So this is going to give you more weapons and tools to pull down on than what's in the book. Because I want to help you get this fire back. Because I believe in my heart of hearts that when people have energy, they're just better humans. And there's so much stress in the world right now. And as I learned, Professor Sapolsky, he said that stress hormones foster negative emotions. So we've got more negative thoughts than we like. Now, when we fix that, it just unlocks us, right? Unlocks our energy and our earning potential. So you can live life on your terms and create freedom and wealth for your family. So that's what I'm about. That's what I want to help people achieve. So to get there, we have to have a look at Western shitty food. That's what I call it, because it is. So what we're going to solve, the problem that we will solve in this is to show you that there's absolutely toxic foods out there. And you might think, occasionally it's okay. You might want to reconsider that when you see some of this research. It's shocking. It is absolutely shocking. We're also going to have a look at foods that raise estrogen, which isn't cool for men. We're also going to have a look at foods that raise androgens, testosterone. And, when you're eating foods, so listen carefully to this. I was blown away when I learned this. When you're eating foods that are estrogenic, right, testosterone, they all go down the same pathway, sex hormones. They go from cholesterol, many steps, goes to testosterone. Now, testosterone, remarkably, can be made into estrogen, right? But there's another pathway that testosterone can take. It can go down another pathway to dihydrotestosterone. Recall at the beginning of this? Dihydrotestosterone is 10 times more potent. Male characteristics, the voice, the beard, but the fire inside you. So your testosterone can go to estrogen through aromatase, or down here to dihydrotestosterone through an enzyme called 5-alpha reductase. Now, do you want it going to estrogen? I'm sure you don't. So I'm going to give you those insights here today. But Western shitty food, it's just pure junk and it's addictive. These big companies make it addictive. They disguise ingredients that have got sugar in it, that as soon as sugar hits your tongue, and they call it really crazy names like dextrose, it turns on the reward system in your brain. These companies also select for foods that have opioid peptides in them. Now, opioid peptides hit the opioid receptors in our brain. So what does that mean? Morphine hits the opioid peptides. It's highly addictive. So they're selecting for foods that are highly addictive with these opioid peptides. But to make matters worse, they're putting just enough sugar in it to switch on the brain's reward system and change the way your brain works. You're always thinking about food. You're always hungry. This was happening to me. So let's now just start to have a look at the Western shitty food and what you need to do to unlock your energy and your hormones. In the final video that I'll put out very soon, the 5th video in the series, I'm going to give you a PDF to further consolidate all this learning together for you. So the first thing we have to look at is these things called AGEs. Now, our body makes AGEs, but we also eat AGEs. Now, why is that concerning? Well, as you see on screen now, this has been published in multiple studies, right? Western shitty food is packed full of these AGEs and also ALEs. So AGEs are advanced glycation end products. ALEs are advanced lipoxidation end products. Now, we don't have to know too much about that. Suffice to say, just check this out on screen. Now, I learned a lot of this from my friend, Dr. Ken Berry. Dr. Ken and I were talking about this, and he calls, eating this shitty food a slave diet, because your energy is down and you're apathetic and you don't want to attack the day. So you're a drone. You just cruise through the day, living for the weekend. Now, that was me for a lot of years too. The first thing it does here, it causes a lot of oxidative stress. And to make that super clear and super real, Dr. Amy B. Keelan, world-respected authority in sexual performance and longevity, right? Oxidative stress shrinks your meat into veg. You're losing your masculinity eating this shit, right? Causes oxidative stress, number one. And lipid peroxidization, right? That's nasty shit. You don't need to know what that is, but just realize it's nasty shit. Then down here, number 5, a double whammy. Why? 50 times more free radicals, more oxidative stress. There goes the meat. But just realize this doesn't happen instantly. It takes decades to get there. It could start to happen for you at 40, 50, or 60, but it's going to happen if you keep eating Western shitty food, unfortunately. But it also causes arthritis. It caused arthritis in me. I had 5 shoulder surgeries. Dr. J, my mentor, genetic expert, works at the Mayo Clinic, PhD on sex hormones, went over my genetics, as I said, and he's found that when my blood glucose is over 85, I've got a 4-fold risk for arthritis. Now, I was trained as a personal trainer, and what did they tell me to do? When you wake up in the morning, carbs, snack, carbs, lunch, carbs, snack, carbs, dinner, carbs. My blood glucose was always up. Arthritis. So if you know anybody that's got arthritis, and another one of my clients has got a 6-fold increased risk for this, and he's got very slow glucose disposal. What that means is it's going to stay in his bloodstream longer. So that poor gentleman's got a 2-fold risk, but we fixed him. And, you can easily fix this. Pulmonary disorders, asthma. This is where it gets really personal to me. My pop died of an asthma attack when I was 16 years old. Can you imagine? just can't breathe. And that's what I thought was going to happen to me in 2017 in October. Now, if you want to learn more about me, there's a link below to learn how this all played out for me over the last 5 years and why I put this book together and the Androgenic Method. But it gets worse, right? Endocrine disorders, exactly what we're speaking to here. Your hormones are disrupted permanently. You're eating this stuff and your blood is making it when your blood glucose is 85 and above. So what we have to do is two things. Learn how to get rid of that glucose out of the blood and put it in the only two storage sites in your body, right? What are these two storage sites? Your liver and your muscles. But the problem becomes if they're full, that this blood glucose has got nowhere to go. So it's going to stay up. And what does that mean? Insulin will stay up. What does that mean? You're in fat storage mode, and that makes you tired. And what does the government say? Carbs, 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 all day long. But where I've got this box highlighted here will shock you. It causes telomere shortening. So this is advanced accelerated aging. And again, 50 times more free radicals. And, the manhood is literally shrinking. But to make matters worse, as you can see here, when these AGEs are in your body, so you're eating them and your body's actually making them, it causes inflammation. Why is that important? Because I learned from Professor Sapolsky that we've got these switches in our brain. So when inflammation goes up, guess what else goes up? Cortisol. And cortisol fosters negative emotions. But to make matters worse, inflammation all by itself switches on this neural circuit in your brain, and this is what happens to you. You go into a state of avoidance and alarm. So alarm, negative thoughts, right? They're just there. Low-level anxiety or a low-level pissy mood, right? And then avoidance. What does that mean? Sick and tired of it. Just to hell with it. I just don't give a shit. I can do it tomorrow. Who gives a crap? It's absolutely stealing your earning potential, your ability to create true wealth. But it gets worse because your brain's not working properly. You can't problem solve. There's no rational thought there. So your true potential in life is being diminished and absolutely crushed by Western shitty food. So what I want to have a look at now, how many minutes are we in? 12 minutes, because I want to put timestamps below here, is how genetics play into it. So look, there's my genetics. Carbohydrate intolerant. And that's why I had 5 shoulder surgeries. Because as I mentioned previously, I've got a 4-fold risk for arthritis when blood glucose is over 85 for too long because it creates those AGEs. But to make matters worse, this also keeps your insulin up. And why is that a problem? Well, the science is in. This is academic. Multiple studies. It's heavy in the literature. These experiments show that elevations in insulin produce increased hunger. Sound familiar? Heightened perceived pleasantness of sweet taste and increase in food intake. Now, this is a paradox because when we eat sweets, this further raises blood glucose, which makes us tired. So we're up and down all over the place. But to make matters worse, this heavily depletes you of magnesium. To metabolize just one glucose molecule, which is what we're talking about here, it requires 54 magnesiums, right? One glucose, 54 magnesium. So you have these sweets, the blood sugar goes up, then you'll get cravings for salty foods, right? This used to be me. I'd be between sweets and salty foods because salty foods, our brain thinks it's going to be full of magnesium. But Western shitty food doesn't have any magnesium in it whatsoever. So we're tired. We put it off. We worry about what other people think. We've got these negative thoughts plaguing. It's just a terrible, terrible food to eat. Now, one of the most disturbing things that I also found, recall that these AGEs shorten your telomeres, which is involved in accelerated aging. Well, It also ages your skin faster. This research paper here, there's ample evidence that AGEs play an important role in skin aging. And it slows down your brain, right? So it slows down synaptic connections. So you'll have more ums and ahs. You won't be able to recall information. Your working memory's not going to be there. So there goes your earning potential again. And what do? Because we're tired, we reach for more of this shit and make it even worse. So this is this part of it is how and why it's addictive, but it's going to shock you because a lot of your food has been now shown to turn male fish into female. So this is how it's feminizing us. Now, certainly it's not going to happen to humans, but what it's doing, you're making, you've got testosterone. And I said at the beginning of this, it can go down two pathways, one to estrogen, this pathway, or down to dihydrotestosterone, right? The voice, the male characteristics, but importantly, this fire inside you to go at it, to punch it in life. So what's happening? These products are stealing your testosterone. And now, more than likely, because you've got oxidative stress and you're not making a lot of testosterone, you're wasting what little testosterone you have. This was me. This is one of the reasons why I had to go on TRT. But you see, back then, I didn't know. I didn't know any of this. So what you don't know, you can't fix. So let's just go back up here and look at how addictive it is. So recall that I was speaking to this earlier, that these companies, these big food companies, they select for foods that have opioid peptides in them, right? So morphine hits the opioid peptides in your brain, highly addictive, and it makes you feel good, right? Oh, yeah, this feels nice. So they select these foods to do the same thing, not to the same degree, but they're still doing it. So when you eat these foods, it's like, I feel better. So you feel a bit better. So most of the day, like we're a bit stressed out. So what do? We eat comfort food because it makes us feel a little bit better, but it's very temporary, like 5 or 10 minutes. And it's in wheat, it's in soy, and it's in dairy. So let me ask you a question. You see those fries there? We call them chips here in Australia. To me, it should only have 3 ingredients: the chips, the salt, and the fat you cook them in, right? Shouldn't that just be the case? But look how addictive these are. Now, before I speak to this, I learned from Andrew Huberman that when sugar hits the tongue, it switches on the brain's reward system. Okay, so you got 2 problems. These opioid peptides and the brain's reward system switches on. So the tongue has got sensors straight to the brain to do this. So they've got maltodextrin in there, sugar. Dextrose, sugar. What the hell's sugar doing on chips? The sugars that they select for aren't sweet, and there's just enough there to switch on the brain's reward system. Doesn't seem fair to me, and it doesn't even seem legal to me. It should be illegal. But look what else they've got in here. Soy, 1. Soy, 2. Vegetable oil has got soy in it, 3. Soy, 4, right? And they've also got wheat down here, so that's addictive again, right? So they've got so many opioid peptides in there, it's not funny. Now, this is where it's going to shock you again, right? Japanese researchers, and this comes from my coach, Dr. Anthony J., have used soybean to turn male fish into females. Now, again, this is not going to happen to men, right? But what's happening to you is it's feminizing you. Testosterone is being wasted, and dihydrotestosterone, which gives you that fire and the male characteristics, you won't turn testosterone into that. Do you see the big problem there? Now, it's just absolutely outstanding to me that they're allowed to get away with this. But to make matters worse, they screw up your brain's ability to signal satiety. I learned this from Professor Huberman. So you've got these emulsifiers. Now, emulsifiers are like dishwashing detergent. Now, inside your gut, you've got a protective lining. So these emulsifiers wash away this protective lining. And they call it very benign things like soy lecithin. So there's lots of different names for these emulsifiers. But the big problem becomes, there's two big problems. Problem number 1 is that the tight junction opens up and food particles go in, causes an autoimmune response and systemic inflammation. Now remember that inflammation switches on a brain circuit in your head, right? Switches it on and triggers avoidance and alarm, right? You're tired, you're sick and tired of it, you want to go home, and alarm, right? Whether that's low-level anxiety or a low-level pissy mood, you're agitated, you're frustrated. Now, the second big problem becomes is that I learned from Professor Huberman again, is that inside your gut, you've got a little brain, right? So inside the protective lining of your gut, these neurons come out, and when you eat, they sense for nutrients to signal satiety. So when you have enough protein and essential fatty acids, this is what Huberman said, there's nothing to do with carbs in there, just protein and essential fatty acids. What it does is triggers a part of your body called the pancreas to release a hormone into your gut called CCK. Now, when CCK builds up enough, it travels up this vagus nerve to the brain and switches on feeling full. So what these emulsifiers do is wash away that protective lining. So what do these neurons do that are supposed to sense for this? They pull back. They want to protect themselves, right? Because it's it's very acidic, and it's going to absolutely kill these neurons, and you don't want that. So these food companies not only select for addictive foods, as you've seen, twofold, switches on the brain's reward system, right? But opioid peptides as well, but it screws up your brain's ability to signal satiety. And to make matters worse, as you can see here, insulin stays up. Why? Because blood glucose is up and it makes you feel tired, increases hunger, perceived pleasantness for sweet taste. So you have a lot of sweets, you burn through your magnesium, then you want salty shit because your body's in a state of lack again. So it's just a big vicious circle. So can you see at any part of your week, your day, or back in the past where this has happened to you? Or is it continually happening to you? But the question becomes, how do you know? How do you feel? That's the question you need to ask yourself. If your energy's up and down all over the place, more than likely that this is exactly what's happening to you. So another big problem with Western shitty food, as I've spoken to before, is that a lot of their food is packed full of omega-6 and it's got hardly any omega-3 whatsoever. So why is that a problem? We're supposed to have balance. And these are just the essential fatty acids that we eat. It comes in through the diet. We are supposed to have balance of these. But Western shitty food is an unbalance. So over time, it increases the ratio inside your body of omega-6 to 3. And this is why that is a problem. You've got low-grade inflammation, right? Switches on that brain circuit, avoidance and alarm. You've also got increased cortisol production, so more negative thoughts than you like. You've also got the serotonin depletion. Now, serotonin is a brain chemical that makes you feel happy and contented and calm. To make matters worse, it's a twofold problem, because over here in point number 8, you've got these receptors that pull serotonin into the brain cell to make you feel joy, happiness, and contentment and calm and quiescent. But you've got less binding. So what that means is, even though this little serotonin that you've got on the outside is hardly pulled in at all. So you never feel joy and happiness. And the only time you do is when dopamine goes up, right? So you're excited about the weekend. You're excited about doing something else. But that joy and happiness is very rarely there. So Western shitty food has got a lot to answer for. And it gets even worse. This research paper here, a high omega-6 fatty acid Western shitty food again hyperactivates the endocannabinoid system, whereas omega-3 fatty acid leads to homeostasis, back to balance. We have to get back to balance. So the big problem with that is endocannabinoids selectively enhance sweet taste. So the receptors in the hypothalamus, which is a part of your brain, talks to the limbic forebrain, the emotional brain. Emotional eating induces appetite and stimulates food intake. So when insulin is up, and you've got a really crappy omega-6 to 3 ratio, how can you fix that? You're pushing shit uphill. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, how do I fix this? I don't know. In the next video, I'll show you how to do that. But if you've got my book and go to phase 1, it puts it all together in 3 steps for you. Now, it also causes a high omega-6 to 3 ratio, leptin resistance, and insulin resistance by default. So we know why that's a problem, but when you've got leptin resistance, it lowers your testosterone. And when you've got insulin resistance, it lowers your testosterone. So you can see the big problem here, right? We have to fix Western shitty food. It's absolutely crushing your ability to create wealth, your earning potential, your energy, your testosterone, your manliness, and it's taking your testosterone, the little bit that you're making of it, and turning it into estrogen, feminizing you, making you apathetic and put you in a fat storing mode, instead of going down the other pathway to dihydrotestosterone to give you that fire, to fight, to punch it, to go at life. This is what it's taking from you. And the male characteristics, I can tell you what, there is nothing better than feeling like a man. But when you've got estrogen coursing through your veins, you can be watching a video on TV and get, upset about it. All right? This is what estrogen does. Now, I'm not bagging estrogen at all. The women can have estrogen. I want testosterone and dihydrotestosterone on my side. I want to play a big game. I want to go at life. That's what I want. Now, the foods that you have to select for, so you can see clearly now. Let me just quickly show you. So this is inside my coaching portal, and it actually gives you the plan, but we'll leave that for another day. So you've got a low carb list of androgenic, and this is inside the book too, estrogenic and just pure garbage, right? Western shitty food is pure garbage, as we can clearly see. Then you've got a carb list, so you select for the androgenic, and you can see that there's estrogenic foods. Then you've got an androgenic fat list, and the same is true there. So as you can see, it's pretty simple to put it together. The book has got the steps in there, but the next video, what I want to show you is a lighting system. What I mean by that is traffic lights. This is what I give to my clients. And I'll also give you a supplement blueprint. The videos below outlining lack clearly shows us that we need to supplement high quality vitamins and minerals, right? If you want to get back up here with consistency, we need all these pathways turning 24/7. And there's lots of supplements out there that are just garbage, absolute crap. And if you want to learn more about that, again, the video is below. So another thing that I can tell you is that it gets harder before it gets easier. Like when you implement this, life gets in the road. Like you're changing your foods, your personal care products, like even candles are toxic. So there's lots of things that we have to change. A lot of people going, do I really need to? Yes, right? Yes, absolutely, because you're inhaling this shit and at massive, massive quantities, and it's crushing you, right? Your testosterone's going. It's going from testosterone, straight to estrogen instead of dihydro, but it's causing oxidative stress and inflammation. So your manhood is shrinking. When my clients go through my portal, they're like, holy shit, right? But my portal, I'll just show you very quickly again. This block here, which is only block 1 of 4, takes about 3 to 4 weeks to go through. So it's advanced stuff in that portal. But, for you to get there now to unlock your energy, this is why I'm putting all this training together here. So the next video is going to show you advanced supplementation, but we're also going to show you that lighting system, because you don't want to go to red or the traffic lights. You want to be between green and orange. So I'm going to give you a weekly wins. So there's going to be 3 things that you need to do every single week over the next 3 weeks, when you start putting this together to get there. I'm here to help. My name is Mark Gine, and I'm hungry for life. I've got this fire inside me, and I want you to experience that same fire that I have. I want you to increase your earning potential. I want you to have good emotional energy so you feel better, right? This is what I want for you. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments below. And if you like this, give it a thumbs up. And again, comment below because it helps me reach more men. And that's what I want to do. I want to help men be more masculine, have more energy, but good energy, great emotional energy so they can be more helpful and, just take off in life. So any questions, comments below, thumbs up and consider subscribing. My name is Mark Iron and you know what I'm all about. I'm about elite performance.